Hey, good afternoon. This is Linda Ray from Real Estate One, and I am coming to you with a little message today other than just real estate. How about that? Listen, I'm right downtown Rochester on Main Street too at Real Estate One, enjoying my day. And I have a special guest. It's my nephew, Tom Ray, which is part of our team on the Real Estate Linda Ray team as well. Tom, you're going to talk to us a little bit today. We're going to reverse roles. I'm going to interview you. How about that?
It sounds
And
great.
we're going to talk about real leadership. I think people need that today, whether we're talking about their home, their job, their church, their living, their grocery shopping, their bill paying, their children, their doggies, whatever. Let's talk about what we think is going on the earth today and some of the crisis that's actually could turn around and maybe achieve something out of the extraordinary. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Everyone in all walks of life need leadership, and leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It's influence. If we're not influencing another person, we're, as John Maxwell calls it, if we're not leading, we're only taking a walk. Everyone needs leadership, and wherever you're at, whether it's personally or your business or your church or organization, there needs to be leadership. Now, not just a person to say, hey, pick this up and do this and do that, but again, it's influence. How are we influencing another person? The leadership is at different stages. So there's some that have leadership basically because they've been given the title. So they walk around with the title of a leader, but they don't know how to lead. And because of that, it's hard for them to gain influence on those they're trying to lead. So they have to build rapport, have to earn respect. And just because they're the leader doesn't mean that they have respect right off the bat. Typically, respect is given where respect is given. So it's important to give respect and to build up a team of people around you who will support you and lead you. Where they will follow your leadership. Mm-hmm. And that's in all walks. So if you're a parent, you need to have influence over your kid. Now, a lot of times we can say, hey, you do this because I said so. And because we're the parent, that might work. But when you're in a workplace, that may not work as well. So it's important that we gain influence with the people we're trying to lead. So that's just one aspect of that. One of the things we do with the Real Leadership Company is we have a side portion that's called Unstuck University, Unstuck You, to get you unstuck from wherever you're at in your stage of life or stage of business. So a lot of us will only grow as high as the leader. So if the leader is not growing, the company's eventually going to come to a stop because they hit what's called the law of the lid. Right? They can go no higher than that lid and that level of thinking. Typically with a business, for instance, you go as high as the leader. And once you've reached that point, you either replace the leader or the leader gets coached to a higher level of thinking. So they get out of their own head, get out of their own way. And specifically with a method of coaching helps them connect the dots to discover that they have the answers within. But too often, you may have heard this expression before, we can't see the forest for the trees. All we can see is the problem rather than the solutions that we can activate for the problem. There's always another way to do something. But sometimes we just get focused on one way. I was coaching one of my clients this past week, and he was thinking about what he had to do, and it was in the context of one thing. And when I asked him the question, well, have you tried this? And he said, I never thought of that. But he knew the answer. And if he would have sat there and thought about it, he would have figured it out. Which leads me to my next point, is we don't take the time to think. All we do is we push forward and move along. We don't take time to think about our problem. Google has probably helped us in that area or hurt us in that area, because whenever we've needed the answer to something, we just go to Google and find it.
True.
So we never get the process our brain to get it thinking about other solutions or other methods and other ways of doing things. And so we can get stuck. And you know the definition of insanity is doing the same things and expecting different results.
Right.
So we've got to do something different.
Yes.
And how do we do that? Well, one way is by thinking. The next way is by coaching to help pull your thoughts together, to help pull those thoughts out of you and to help you connect the dots to say, oh yeah, have you ever had an epiphany? Right? We've all had epiphany, but not enough times. And, during Christmas time, I was sitting down next to Santa, actually the guy that plays Santa at the mall, and we were trying to figure out who the lead elf was in the movie Santa Claus with Tim Allen. And we refused to go to Google to get this information because we knew the answer. We just couldn't remember what it was. And we went back and forth and back and forth. This went on for probably an hour. We were doing other things, but we kept coming back to it, saying, what was that name? And then we started getting close. We started saying names that kind of sounded like it. And then finally, the light bulb came on and said, it's Bernard. Bernard is the lead elf. And there was this just release of endorphins that came out, that eureka moment, that epiphany.
Yeah.
That we figured out what it was. And so with coaching, epiphanies, if you want to call them that, happen more often because you are coaching helps unlock the things that you already know. It's just that we get in our own way and keep ourselves from learning or growing to the next level.
Well, I think so much of that's going to be true too right now with the opportunity, as our science is up there, that preparation and opportunity meets, that's called success. And I think in our world today, we're having such a shift one more time, not something that we haven't seen many times before, which is going to require some thinking, isn't it? Thinking outside the box. And sometimes maybe I've been referred to, I don't even have a box, but the thing is we're constantly thinking about what is it that the people need. Just stop and think until you get the right answers. What is it that the public needs? How do you help them get there? And what do you need to do different to make that happen? So if you are prepared in that opportunity, which we now have, is available to us, there's going to be a lot of people survive this new shift. Mm-hmm. And a lot of new businesses and creativity coming out of it. And it's always been this way. And it will continue to be this way, but I think it makes us the best person that we can be. And the more we have in our toolbox to pull out, thank God we have the experience that we've had from the years past, the past clients, the tenaciousness that's in each one of us. We understand what it's like to fall down and how to get back up, because you're going to in this market, in the real estate world. And that can pertain to any business whatsoever. Right now, I just talked with a few and been going through the few stores that just started in our local area to give them encouragement and to support them because they're going to need it. And yet here is brand new businesses opening up right now. Mm-hmm. As a lot of businesses are closing, a lot of brand new businesses are opening up. And I think maybe you would contest that that's true in everybody's life. It really goes back to a lot of attitude, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a great story on this note. And a lot of businesses did close during the coronavirus outbreak and all of that because they didn't know how to pivot. And so the story is this family jumps in their car and they're heading from Michigan to Florida, and their car breaks down in Kentucky. And so the husband and father just decides to say, hey, we're just going to live here.
I've heard those stories in Florida many times too.
Right. We're just going to live here because this is where our car broke down.
Yeah.
And that's ludicrous to say that.
Yes.
Your home's back in Michigan, and your destination was in Florida. So why are you stopping midway? It's because we get caught up in the only solution that we had, right? Or the only thought that we had in that moment. And it's caused us to stay right in our tracks, to stop right in our tracks instead of thinking about another solution, another way to get it done. Our destination is Florida, and by God, we're going to get there one way or the
One
other.
way or the
And we're
other.
not going to let circumstances or things stop us. Now, there may be the lack of people walking through the door, but if you know, during the coronavirus outbreak and all of that was going on, a lot of companies pivoted. Some that, in fact, a brewery started making rubbing alcohol, to cleanse your hands. So that's how they pivoted. Some others created masks and things of that nature, just so they could stay in business, so they could keep the machine running until they could eventually come back to what they were doing. And chances are, a lot of these companies that did pivot maybe found that there's more revenue in this new area that they happened to stumble into, because they were finding out what the need was and meeting the need.
Absolutely true. And as long as I've been in the business, I've watched the ones that have really made it. And many people ask me right now, how do you see the market? What do you see is going to happen? Same thing that's always happened. Those who are going to survive are survivors, and they're going to do that. And it will push you out of the box. And I think it's meant to push us out of the box. Let us think deeper. Let us dig deeper. I think it's so satisfying when you figure out the solution, not only for yourself, by the way, but for those around you. I was interviewed years ago, and Paula says, "Mom, you didn't say that." I said, "Oh, yes, I did. I was thinking about what am I going to say that's so profound to help everybody." I thought, how about the truth? And they'd say, "What motivates you and drives you like it is?" I said, "Fear and lack." Well, back in those days, it did. Groceries was just almost impossible to keep on the table for everybody. That was way, way back. Thank God that I'm in a different state right now. But the only thing that got me there was just drive. And again, fear and lack to me was a driving force. I don't want to fail. I don't want to not be able to pay my bills. I don't want people around me to suffer. So therefore, you just dig deep and you find things down within you that perhaps you didn't know was there. So Tom's doing a lot of coaching. I'm glad to have him on our team. Knew him as a little boy, and all of a sudden he's coaching us now. And really can reach out to Tom if you need some help. Tom's also a pastor, by the way. He helps people in many ways and has been doing that for years. He's a great asset to his church and his family. And he's a realtor. He's a realtor. So, Tom, how would they get a hold of you if they would like some coaching? I'd rather it's on a one-to-one basis too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One-to-one or group coaching. Perhaps a company would like to change the culture that they have. I tell you, if I can share a quick story.
Sure.
My wife and I went to Tennessee over the holidays, and we stayed at this hotel. It's just a 3-star hotel, but we were treated wonderfully. It's because they have a 5-star team.
There you go.
And it starts from the top down now.
Yep.
And it goes right down to the groundskeeper who is there,
Yes.
who engaged with us, the guests, and made us feel like family, made us feel like we didn't want to leave. And my wife and I, back in August of last year, we went to Jamaica to a 5-star resort, and we couldn't wait to leave because
I
of how we
understand
were
what you're
treated.
saying. Mm-hmm.
And so we should have got the 5-star treatment, but we didn't. And so the point is, it's all about leadership. It starts from the top and goes right down. And it's important that every person along the way, first of all, everybody is picking the right people and getting them in the right seats.
Yes.
Secondly, it's encouraging them, and it's feeding into them and making sure their needs are met, making happy employees so that they in turn will make happy customers. And that's what it's all about. For more information, I'm available at RealLeadershipCompany.com, or Tom@RealLeadershipCompany.com is my email address. Or you can reach me at 586-275-7732. And as Linda said, I'm also a realtor. And so you can reach me at TomRayRealtor@gmail.com, or you can call me at the same number, 586-275-7732.
And you're never too successful to have a coach.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs a coach.
Yes.
I coach all day long, but guess what? I need a coach. I have several of them, but Tom's one of my newest, and he's right here. And it's such an encouraging fact to have somebody to say, even if they're not teaching you something brand new, but believe me, they do, it's to tell you that you're on the right track and that you're thinking straight. I think that's encouraging to share with others what your thoughts are and see if they think that you are thinking straight for the next year. It's going to be something to watch 2023. I look forward to it. I've already had several homes bought and sold in the month of January, which everybody thought that would not happen. But I refuse to think like that. It's almost like don't turn on the news. Turn on your own news and be around and have people motivate you that get you where you are. Eliminate those who try to drag you down from where you're going and stay on top of it. And then again, Tom, you know, and I know, giving to those around you it motivates you more than anything you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
It's like helping others. It comes back to us 100-fold. If you're thinking about selling a home, give me a call. I've got one right now that I'm going to finish when I'm done a house, and we actually have multiple offers on it. So if it's priced right and it's set up right, we're going to have multiple offers. We have several people also. We got very creative, came out with giving them a $10,000 bonus towards buying your interest rates down. So interest rates are down to 4 and 5 again with my customers. So you can give me a call at 248-709-3786. Tom, loved having you on today. Thanks for all your help. You're an inspiration.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.